His MMA victory sex. Age gap breeding 21. Breeding erotica, age gap erotica. Written by Kimmy Welsh. Narrated by Kline. His MMA victory sex. Age gap breeding 21. Breeding erotica, age gap erotica. When my fighter, Mason's opponent, tapped out of the fight, the resulting noise was deafening. At first, I cheered along with them, but soon after, the emotion got away from me as I watched the relief wash over his face. He sat on his knees, his face caught somewhere between euphoria and anguish. It was the look of a man who had put every ounce of his being into his craft, and it had paid off. His shoulders bobbed as he laughed and cried in equal measure. The crowd stayed on their feet. The flashes of the cameras twinkled like a blanket of stars, and the escaping noise rolled through the night like a clap of thunder. He'd done it. I watched from beside the ring as the trainer and cutman rushed in, along with his entourage and training camp. The octagon was so swamped with bodies that I was happy to wait for my turn to congratulate him. I'd been there through every moment as his masseuse and nutritionist, and the sense of victory was deep inside me, too. I watched as Mason embraced his friends. Then his head darted frantically over the crowd as he stood on his tiptoes, shouting.
"Chelsea?"
he roared, looking through the thronging, bouncing bodies.
"Chelsea?"
I lifted a hand and waved, laughing back tears. He noticed me and waved me towards him. "No," I mouthed. "Later." He insisted I come forward, and a couple of people nudged me on from behind. I walked into the ring with him, stepping carefully over the blood-soaked canvas as I made my way through the melee. "You did it!" I yelled, putting an arm around him and kissing his gruff face. I could smell the sweat on him, but there was something intoxicating about it. He pulled me close, and his pecs pressed against me. It felt surreal. Almost dreamlike. The audience around us went crazy, and finally, Carl Mahone, the polished ex-pro presenter, made his way through the ring with the camera and microphone for the interview.
"Mason McMasters. They call you the Brick, and for good reason tonight. How do you feel?"
he said. Mason took a hold of the mic, and his heavy breaths could suddenly be heard throughout the auditorium.
"I can't describe it,"
he huffed.
"Everything came to this point. I'm just so thankful for everyone."
He stared up at his huge face on the screen and laughed, looking back to me and pointing.
"Sharing the moment with your masseuse, Chelsea, who we understand has been with you every step of the way. She's amazing,"
he started, looking back to me.
"We've become so close throughout this whole camp. There's no one else I'd want in my corner, apart from my trainer, of course."
The crowd laughed, and I looked back to see Eddie Sanchez, his trainer. His arms were folded tight across his chest, and he had this proud look on his face as he shook his head in a laugh.
"And what's the plan now?"
"Rest," he said, exhaling hard.
"Lots of rest, and then we go again. We see who's out there and go again. I'm always ready."
"Pleasure as always, Mason." Carl nodded, extending a hand.
"Great fight."
Mason shook it.
"Thanks, Carl."
After a moment or two, we left the octagon to continued applause. This was one of the main events of the night, and the crowd was amped up beyond measure. I could hear them screaming his name as we took the walk back through the aisles. That same walk we'd nervously taken around half an hour before. It was a much different experience now. We walked back past security, followed by a camera crew, as the post-fight analysts and viewers at home no doubt watched our return to the locker room.
"No more cameras,"
Mason said, which was by now understood amongst those who covered his fights. It had long been a ritual of ours that he and I returned to the locker room alone for some crucial immediate aftercare. You can prevent a lot of unnecessary damage in those minutes just after a fight. Eddie and the entourage moved to a separate room, one that we'd set up just for them with drinks and snacks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?